I once saw a seven-figure deal, a deal that looked like a sure thing on paper, completely fall apart in the final hour. And you want to know why? It's because the sales team sold a product while their competitor sold a future. And that's exactly what we're digging into today. In the high-stakes world of enterprise sales, your most powerful tool isn't your feature list, it's the story you tell. So picture this. You're in the boardroom. You've got the data, you've got the specs, the ROI charts, the whole shebang. But I want you to look around that table. I mean, really look. You're not just talking to a complex buying committee. You're talking to a CFO who's worried about the budget, a VP of engineering who's deeply skeptical about integration, and a CEO who has heard 1,000 pitches that sound just like yours. In that room, logic and facts, that's just table stakes. It gets you in the door. But stories. Stories are what get you the win. I mean, this really gets to the heart of it, right? Facts inform, but stories convert. This is the core idea we're unpacking. We get so focused on proving our value with data that we forget our real job, to turn a skeptical buyer into a confident partner. And that transformation, well, it's powered by story. So let me ask you this directly. When you walk into that crucial meeting, are you a walking spreadsheet or are you a storyteller? Let's break down why making that shift is the difference between a maybe and a signed contract.
Okay, first things first, let's diagnose the real problem here. We've got to understand this fundamental disconnect, this invisible wall that causes so many promising deals to stall out and die right before the finish line.
On the left here, this is where most sales teams live. It's the world of features, specs, and cold hard data. It's the what of your solution. But over on the right, that's where the decision actually gets made. Clients don't buy the what, they buy what it means for them. They're buying trust. They're buying a vision for a less stressful future. They're buying a solution to the problem that's literally been keeping them up at night. The gap between these two worlds, well, it's a graveyard of lost deals. Okay, so how do we bridge that gap? Well, it's not about some kind of magic or charisma. That's about understanding a little bit about how the human brain is actually wired to make these big decisions. This is so crucial. We forget this all the time. That vice president of operations or that chief information officer isn't just a title on a slide. They are a person with fears, with hopes, with KPIs they have to hit, and a whole lot of personal risk riding on this one decision. I mean, if they choose you and it fails, their career could be on the line. Story is how you speak directly to that human. And this is how it works. It's like a powerful chain reaction. A great story doesn't just present information, it kind of bypasses the analytical brain and plugs directly into our emotional core. So look at the flow here. A story creates an emotional connection. That connection builds trust, and trust is the fuel that drives action. It's a powerful sequence. So here's the bottom line. When you and your three main competitors all claim to have the best features and the highest ROI, you're not competing anymore. You're just creating noise. All the data points start to blur together. In that sea of sameness, a compelling, relevant story is the only thing that can make you stand out and be memorable. Okay, so we've established why stories are so critical. Now let's get practical. Let's move from theory to tactics and look at the 3 specific stories you absolutely need in your toolkit for any major deal. First up is what I call the customer mirror story. And the goal here is super simple. When you tell this story, your prospect should see a perfect reflection of themselves. They should be thinking, wait a minute, that's me. That is my exact problem. When that happens, you can literally see the skepticism melt away, and a foundation of trust is built almost instantly. Now look at how specific this is. It's not a client. It's a CIO in fintech. It's not just a problem. It's partner chaos. This specificity is what makes the story hit home and feel real. Your prospect immediately leans in because you're speaking their language. And here's where the story really earns its keep. It's not just a nice little anecdote, it's a business case wrapped inside a narrative. It ends with a hard, quantifiable outcome that gets the CFO's attention, a 41% reduction in risk exposure. That's a number that can change the entire tone of a meeting. The second story in your toolkit is the unexpected insight story. Now, what if you could do more than just solve the problem they think they have? This is where you elevate yourself from a vendor to a true strategic advisor. You reframe their problem and reveal a deeper, more critical issue they didn't even see coming. This right here, this is the moment that completely flips the script. The client is obsessed with one problem, but your insight reveals the real issue is something else entirely. In that aha moment, you've totally repositioned your value. You're not just there to sell a product anymore. You're there to provide clarity. And that's a value you deliver long before a contract is ever signed. And again, we anchor this insight in a massive business outcome. Finding that error didn't just fix a report, it unlocked over $2 million in budget. Now, that is the kind of value that makes you indispensable. And finally, after you've built trust and you've established your authority, you deploy the vision story. This isn't about features. This is about painting a vivid picture of the after. What will life be like for their team once your solution is in place? I heard one VP put it this way after a successful implementation. This is the first time in 2 years we've had space to actually lead instead of just fighting fires. Wow, now that is a powerful vision. So you have your 3 core story types: the mirror, the insight, and the vision. But how do you actually build them and weave them into your sales process? Well, here's a simple 4-step playbook to get you started. 1. Always open with a problem they are genuinely losing sleep over. Don't pitch, relate. 2. Tell a true story. Use real metrics, real roles, real tension. No fairy tales here. 3, and this one is a game changer, don't tell one long story. Instead, create these 30 to 60-second story drops that you can strategically insert into any conversation, whether it's for discovery or handling an objection. And finally, the most important step of all. This might be the single most important rule in this whole thing. Your product isn't the hero of the story. The customer is. Your solution is the tool, the guide, the magic sword that helps the hero, your customer, slay their dragon and win the day. This shift in perspective, it changes everything. Let's tie all of this together. And I want to be crystal clear on this point. Thinking of storytelling as some kind of soft skill is a fundamental mistake. In today's market, it is a core, measurable business strategy. And honestly, it's more urgent now than it has ever been. Because let's be real about the world we're all selling in right now. The C-suite gives you 90 seconds, if you're lucky. Your competitors are in a race to the bottom on price. Your buyer is completely overwhelmed trying to evaluate 7 different tools while fighting 13 internal political battles. Heck, even AI is writing generic pitch decks now. The noise is just deafening. And that is why this is your path forward. This is your way out of the noise. In a world of commoditized features and endless data points, your only true, sustainable competitive advantage is the ability to narrate a compelling, believable, and genuinely exciting future for your customer. So the next time a multi-million-dollar deal's on the line, just ask yourself this question. Are you showing up as just another vendor selling a product? Or are you showing up as a partner ready to narrate their future? The answer to that question will define your success.